Now we shall move on to the concept like electric dipole. Di means two, pole. Here it is not a magnetic pole because we are considering the word electric. Therefore, here pole refers to charges because magnetic dipole is also there. So, magnetic dipole, electric dipoles. Two different types of dipoles exist, but here we consider electric dipole. What is meant by electric dipole then? Two equal and opposite charges separated by a very small distance. Separated by very small distance. Here I consider plus q minus q. Two equal means if the magnitude of this charge is 2 coulomb, the magnitude of this charge should be also equal to 2 coulomb. But only thing is they must be of opposite nature. That means if one is positive and another one is negative, then only it forms electric dipole. If both the charges are positive or if both the charges are negative, then that pair of charge cannot be considered as electric dipole. The condition for electric dipole is the charges must be of opposite nature and their magnitude should be same and the distance of separation between them should be very, very small. So, what is the distance of separation between these two charges? It is 2a. It should be as small as possible. But for the purpose of explanation, we have written the two charges well separated. But in reality, the distance between them will be very, very small. So, 2 coulomb, one is plus and another one is minus. So, two equal and opposite charges separated by very small distance is known as electric dipole. Next, let us consider one more term related to this electric dipole itself. Electric dipole moment. There is one more dipole moment, that is magnetic dipole moment. Magnetic dipole moment is with respect to magnetic poles. Electric dipole moment is with respect to electric charges. Then what is the definition of electric dipole moment? It is defined as product of magnitude of either charge. Either charge means any one of the charge because both the charges possess same magnitude. That is why product of magnitude of either charge and the distance of separation between them. That means if you take the magnitude of any one of the charge and if you multiply that by the distance of separation, what is the distance of separation between these two? It is 2a. From here to here it is 2a. So, q into 2a, this product is going to give us dipole moment, electric dipole moment, and we represent this by a small letter p. Since it is a vector quantity, I am going to represent this in vector form. See, this is nothing but this equation is in vector form. Okay. All that I need to do is just I have to give the direction. On left hand side, I put arrow at the top of P so that it becomes vector. On the right hand side, I introduce unit vector n cap because unit vector always gives the direction. So, n cap is the unit vector. What is the direction of this unit vector? Directed is direction is it is directed in the direction of dipole moment. What is the direction of dipole moment here? The direction of dipole moment here is always from minus q to plus q. So, this is the direction of dipole moment. Therefore, the direction of unit vector should be from minus q to plus q, or the direction of this dipole moment is from minus q to plus q. It is not from plus to minus, but in this case it is from minus to plus. So, that is the direction of dipole moment. Then what is the use of studying this electric dipole? Significance, that means applications or advantages. So, applications or advantages of studying this electric dipole, which is also nothing but significance. See, the concept of dipole is used to distinguish polar molecules from that of non-polar molecules. We are going to come across this polar molecule and non-polar molecules in the later chapters, where we study in detail about it. So, if you want to distinguish which are polar, which are non-polar, then we need the concept of electric dipole. Second one is, it is used to find the effect of electric field on insulators. See, electric field is going to produce its own effect both on conductors and as well as on insulators. Suppose if I consider an insulator, say for example, I am going to consider a wooden rod. Now if I keep this wooden rod in an electric field E, then in what way this electric field is going to affect the insulator? What changes it is going to make in the case of insulator? That we are going to study with the concept of electric dipole. Whatever effect it produces on insulator. Then third one is to find the amount of energy radiated by antennas. There are different antennas, radio antennas, TV antennas, like these various antennas are there. So, how much of energy these antenna radiates or emits, that can also be determined or found out with the help of the concept of electric dipole. So these are the significance or applications or advantages of the study of electric dipole. Let us derive an expression for electric field at a point P on the axial line. Expression for electric field at a point on the axial line due to an electric dipole. Now we have dipole plus q and minus q separated by distance 2a. Plus q and minus q, two charges of the electric dipole separated by distance 2a. Now P is the point on the axial line. What is meant by axial line? The line joining the two charges, that means plus q and minus q. If I draw a line joining these two charges, then this line is known as axial line. Okay, and this line can be extended to any desired length, but 2a should be the distance always between plus q and minus q. There is some restriction for 2a, it should be the distance between plus q and minus q itself, but the axis length can be extended on either side towards minus q and also towards plus q. Now here I have chosen a point P on this axis. Let this point P be at a distance r from the midpoint O of the electric dipole. Where I am finding the electric field? At a point P on the axis. I have extended the axis towards this side. So on this axial line, I have taken a point P. Then by using this equation, we are able to determine the total field at P due to this dipole. Because see, this is the equation which is already derived, which is nothing but electric field at a point P due to an isolated charge, means single charge. At point P, which is at the distance r, what is the electric field means? This is the electric field. Let us use this equation to find the field at P due to plus q and minus q, then we find the resultant field. So P is the point at which electric field is to be determined. Now what is the distance OP? OP is equal to R. Electric field at P due to the charge plus Q. I write this as E plus. Plus sign indicates that is the electric field due to the positive charge. It is given by 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught according to this equation. Q, what is the charge? Instead of plus Q, I take small q, Q divided by then R square. R means distance between the charge plus Q and the point P, which is not known. But this distance is known. What is this distance? Small r. From P to O, it is R. Now from this total distance R, if I subtract this much, that means from O to Q, what is the distance? A. Because A plus A is equal to 2A. Okay, A plus A equal to 2A. Since I want this much of distance, so what I do is I consider this total distance which is equal to R. From that I am going to subtract this much. What is the distance? A. So Q divided by r minus a, that is the distance of the charge plus q from the point P, but here square is there, therefore square it up. Mention the direction now. Directed along, I write like this, directed along OP. How can I write the direction like this? Because if you want to find the direction of field at the point P, all that you need to do is simply keep test charge Q0. So here afterwards, instead of writing Q0, what I do means I write this as +1, because the value of Q0 is equal to 1 coulomb of positive charge, which is known as test charge or unit positive charge. This test charge from this positive charge undergoes repulsion. As a result of this, it moves like this. Therefore, this is nothing but the direction of electric field due to positive charge, which is along OP. Similarly, what is electric field? Electric field at P due to minus Q, due to the charge minus Q. It is E minus equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by R minus A whole square. Now, what is the distance of minus Q? R minus A whole square. R minus A is the distance of the positive charge from the point P. But I want to find the distance of this negative charge from the point P. What is the distance? From here to here, it is already known as equal to R. Whereas from here to here, once again, it is known as equal to A. So this total distance now, it is nothing but R this much plus this, R plus A. So here if it is R minus A, in this case it will be R plus A whole square. Now I write the direction as directed along PO. How can I write like this? Again, imagine the test charge at the point P. Now we are finding the electric field due to this charge. Which charge? Negative charge. Okay. Due to negative charge, I am writing positive charge is going to attract this negative charge. Therefore, this charge tends to move like this. So it is from P to O. Okay. So that is what I have written here. So now we have two fields. Mark the direction of electric field due to negative charge, E minus. Look here. The length of E plus is found to be larger than the length of E minus. So the length of this arrow gives the magnitude of the electric field due to positive charge, and this length gives the magnitude of electric field due to negative charge. It is found that E plus is greater than E minus. Remember, E plus is greater than E minus. Why? The point P is very close to the positive charge, whereas the point P is far away from negative charge. According to this equation, it is found that E is inversely proportional to R square. Means if the distance between the charge and the point where field is to be determined, that goes on increasing. If this distance increases, then electric field goes on decreasing. So, it's a very small distance, therefore field is large. From here to here, the distance is very large, therefore field is small. That is why E plus is greater than E minus. Now, what is the net field at the point P? So, let us find out the net field at the point P. Net field at P is given by E net equal to E plus of E minus. Add both the fields, but while adding, I take care, I put minus sign here, because the direction of E plus and E minus are opposite. Since both the fields E plus and E minus are along the same line with opposite direction, I can add it up. That is why E plus of minus for opposite direction, and this plus addition sign is because both the fields are on the same line, they are not acting along different lines. If they act along different lines, then we have to use a different method of finding the total field. Now substitute for E plus and as well as E minus. Both in E plus and as well as E minus, what is common? 1 over 4 pi epsilon Q. 1 over 4 pi epsilon Q is common. Therefore, I remove that 1 over 4 pi epsilon Q outside. Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Then for E plus, what is left? 1 over R minus A whole square is left. Okay. Then for E minus, what is left? Plus 1 over R plus A whole square is left. Now you take the LCM and simplify it. What do we get? Let us see now. Suppose if I simplify this further, then first of all Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, then LCM R minus A, R plus A whole square, R minus A whole square into R plus A whole square is the LCM. Then 1 into this R plus A whole square, it becomes R plus A whole square. Then what is there? Plus into minus, minus is there. Okay, let us change this. Plus into minus, minus is there. Minus, then 1 into this R minus A, 1 into this R plus A whole square, then 1 into this R minus A whole square. So that is how we simplify by taking LCM. Now in the numerator, simplify using the formula A plus B whole square and A minus B whole square. What is A plus B whole square? A square plus B square plus 2AB. Put minus sign as it is, open a bracket. Now what is A minus B whole square? A square plus B square minus 2AB. Okay. Now in the numerator, square is there for both the terms. I write this as R minus A into R plus A, but don't forget to write this square. How can I write like this? Okay, you know that if A square B square is there, product of A square and B square can be written as AB whole square. I can square both in common. So that is what I have written. So this is like A, this is like B, therefore AB whole square. Now simplify it further. Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught, understand? Then R square plus A square plus 2RA minus into plus minus R square minus into plus minus into minus plus 2RA. Whole thing divided by, now this is of the form R minus A, R plus A is of the form A plus B and A minus B formula. What is A minus B and A plus B formula? A minus B into A plus B is nothing but A square minus B square. So it is R square minus B square means A square whole square. Whole square. So I applied the formula here. A minus B into A plus B, nothing but A square minus B square. So put a bracket. Now simplify this further. So this is equal to now Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into cancel of the terms with get cancelled, plus R square minus R square plus A square minus A square. Okay, so these terms get cancelled. Then 2RA plus 2RA, this one and this one, totally becomes 4RA. So it is 4RA divided by R square minus A square whole square. Then I take Q inside and I split this 4 as 2 into 2 and 1 2 I am going to take outside. 1 2 I take outside along with R. So 2 and R are taken outside. Q I am going to take inside. Therefore what does it becomes? It becomes Q into 2 into A. These two forms 1 divided by, here what is there? 4 pi epsilon naught is there, divided by R square minus A square whole square. Okay. So now The purpose of taking this q inside and splitting 4 into 2 into 2 is to make some substitution to q into 2a. What the substitution I can make for q into 2a? For q into 2a, I can substitute as equal to dipole moment. Okay, let us simplify this now further. So this becomes equal to 2r divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into what is q into 2a? Dipole moment P divided by r square minus a square whole square. So I can write here as where q into 2a equal to P is nothing but dipole moment of electric dipole. So this is nothing but net field, remember. So this is nothing but net field. This is the expression for the net field at the point P due to the two charges, that means due to electric dipole. Then what is the direction of this net field? The direction of the net field, if I mind, I can take this 2r into the bracket. So then I can write this as E net as equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2 P into R divided by R square minus A square whole square. So this way also I can write. Let us find out the direction of the net field. So it's very simple. Look here. E plus is greater than E minus. So in which direction the net field acts? Suppose if E plus is of 20 units, 20 Newton per coulomb, and if E minus is of 15 units, then 20 minus 15. Why minus? Because both are in the opposite direction. 20 minus 15 means 5 units. So therefore the resultant field direction will be always along the direction of greater field. So this will be the direction of the resultant field, which is from O to P, not from P to O, because E plus is greater than E minus. So direction can be represented by writing this in vector form. So in vector form, what can I write in vector form? E net is equal to, I put one arrow, then this is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught 2 P R divided by R square minus A square whole square into P cap. What is P cap? P cap is the unit vector which gives the direction of the net field. So this is nothing but net field. What's the direction of net field? The direction of net field is from O to P. Okay. So the direction of net field is from O to P. So I can mark that P cap here. Written already P cap here. So already marked P cap, which gives the direction of the net field. And P cap is also the direction of dipole moment. What is the direction of dipole moment? The direction of dipole moment is always from negative to positive charge. In this case, direction of dipole moment and also the direction of net field are both one and the same. Net field is acting towards left side. Direction of dipole moment is also towards left side, that is from minus q to plus q. So P cap is equal to unit vector which is along the direction of E net electric field. Okay. Then suppose if I want to find the net field due to a short dipole, what is meant by short dipole? If I introduce one condition, simple condition, then it becomes a short dipole. For a short dipole, what the condition is? R is very much greater than A. That means this distance r is found to be very much greater than a. So this is found to be large when compared to this. If that's the condition, then the dipole can be treated as short dipole. That is the case, then what happens to that equation? E net becomes equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, okay, 2pr divided by, look here what I do here, since r is very much greater than a, I can neglect a because it's very small. If I neglect a, then it becomes r square into square, r square whole square, neglect a, then it is r square whole square, it becomes r to the power of 4. So r to the power of 4. So this is neglecting a, don't forget. Then cancel off one r and r. So finally E becomes, net field becomes 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught 2p divided by r cube. So this is the expression for the short electric field due to a short dipole. Don't forget. So this is the expression for the electric field due to a short dipole. So this is not a short dipole. So this is taken in general. For any general dipole, that should be the equation for net field. Whereas here you can introduce unit vector p cap and also here p cap, because direction should be there since it is a vector. So this is for short dipole and this is for a general dipole. So it's one of the important derivation. Now we shall derive one more expression for the electric field at a point on the equatorial line of an electric dipole. The very first derivation is electric field at a point on the actual line of an electric dipole, whereas this derivation is for the same electric dipole but the position is different. That means in this case we are finding the field at a point on the equatorial line instead of actual line, which is already derived. Okay, let us consider as usually plus q and minus q are the two charges kept separated by a distance 2a. Therefore, these two represents the charges of the electric dipole, in which it's a detail I am not going to write, already it is written in the previous derivation. What is meant by then equatorial line? Suppose if you consider a line joining plus q and minus q, this is known as axial line. Okay, exactly from the midpoint of the dipole, if I draw one perpendicular bisector, that means if I draw one perpendicular, I call this perpendicular as perpendicular bisector because distance between these 2 points and distance between these 2 points, if it remains same, then we call this perpendicular as perpendicular bisector. It is going to bisect this total length equally. It divides this length equally into 2 parts. So that is why this is nothing but equatorial line. On this equatorial line, I am going to choose a point P. So this is the point P in which I am considering. Okay, then this is nothing but the equatorial line. So on this equatorial line, now I am choosing a point P. Now these are the two charges of the electric dipole. Let us join AP and as well as PP. I am going to join the point P with the positions of the two charges of the dipole. What are the positions of the two charges of the dipole? A and B are the positions of the charge plus Q and minus Q. Next, let this point P be at a distance R from where? From the midpoint of the dipole. What is the midpoint of the dipole? Right from here to this point, what is this total distance? This total distance is nothing but equal to, from here to here it is equal to R. So let us write this here, R. Then find out the electric field at the point P due to the charge plus Q. What's the electric field at the point P due to the charge plus Q? Once again, use the basic equation. What is the basic equation? Means electric field at a point due to an isolated point charge. We know that equation. What is that equation? So we know that E equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. This is the basic equation, but this is the field due to an isolated charge. So field at P, electric field at P due to plus Q. At this point P, due to this charge plus Q, using this equation, I write this as E plus Q. That means plus Q represents the electric field due to positive charge. It is given by 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q. What is the charge Q? Instead of capital Q, here I have taken small q, therefore I write small q divided by R square. What should be the R? R should be the distance between the point where electric field is to be determined and the point where charge is placed. It is not this R. This R is the distance of the point P from the midpoint O of the dipole. Whereas in this equation, what does R suggest? R suggests that it should be the distance between 2 points. What are those 2 points? One point is a point where electric field is to be determined. Another point is a point where charge is placed. Here charge is placed at A, whereas field is required at P. To find out this distance. How do you find this distance? Apply Pythagoras theorem to this right angle triangle. So if I consider this angle as theta, this angle is 90. So therefore it's a right angle triangle. Then square of the hypotenuse, this is hypotenuse. Square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of the other two sides. What is this side equal to? This side is equal to R. What should be this side? This side should be equal to A. And again from here to here the distance is A. A plus A, totally it is equal to 2A. So this side length is R. This side length is A. This side length is R. Using Pythagoras theorem, now we can find this side distance, that is AP as equal to root of A square plus R square. So here R means it is nothing but AP square. So this can be written as 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by what is AP according to the Pythagoras theorem, root of A square plus R square. A square plus R square, but don't forget to square it again because it is R square, not only R. So therefore this root and square, it get cancelled. Now E plus Q is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by A square plus R square. So this is the electric field at the point P due to this charge. How do you find its direction? At the point P, if I imagine a test charge, that means 1 coulomb of positive charge I am going to keep here. Say for example 1 coulomb. This charge, from this charge undergoes repulsion and tends to move along the straight line path. It has to move along straight line only. It cannot move in some other path or in a curved path. Okay, the force or the field acts along the line joining these 2 points. Therefore, the direction of electric field now, it is from A to P. So directed along AP. I can write like this. So directed along AP. Similarly, now what will be the electric field at the same point P due to the negative charge? It is one and the same because this distance is also same. According to Pythagoras theorem, what is this? BP. BP is equal to AP. Both these sides are one and the same. This side is also equal to A. This side is also equal to R. So these two forms are similar triangles. So therefore, this side equal to this side equal to this, and this is a common side for both the triangles. So similarly electric field at P due to charge minus q means negative charge is given by equation E minus q equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by a square plus r square. Directly I am going to write. Same step is to be followed. Only thing is, instead of plus q, I write minus q. What is the direction now? Again, let us imagine the test charge. Look here, at the point P, I am going to keep the test charge. That means 1 coulomb of positive charge. So, if I keep 1 coulomb of positive charge, this is positive, this is negative. Now there will be attraction between this charge and this charge. Therefore, I have written here E minus q, attraction. Whereas for the previous charge plus q, at this point, repulsion. Therefore, this is the direction. E plus q is the direction of electric field due to plus q, and E minus q is the direction of electric field due to the charge minus q. So I can write like this: directed along PB. Now let us remove this. As usually, let us write that point as P. So directed along PB. Okay. Now, see, from these two equations, what is that we find? It is found that E plus Q is equal to E minus Q. E plus Q is equal to E minus Q, which is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught Q divided by A square plus R square. That means the magnitude of both these fields, this field and as well as this field, remains same. Only thing is directions are different. Now find out the net field where at the point P. How do you find the net field at the point P? To find the net field at the point P, what I am going to do means, I am going to split or resolve each of the field. I resolve E plus Q into two fields. Again, I resolve E minus Q also into two fields. Why should I resolve? To find the total field of E plus Q and E minus Q in this case, it is not direct. You cannot find the total by direct method, that means by adding or by subtracting, because E plus Q and E minus Q are acting along different lines. Therefore, what we do? So we follow the method of principle of resolution of a vector, which we have studied already this in first PUC. So I split or resolve. Resolve means splitting this into two parts. Look here, one like this, E plus Q, I write. Then another like this, E plus Q. Okay. If you resolve, then what happens? One part or one component should become horizontal and another component should become vertical. So if I split E plus Q into two rectangular components means mutually perpendicular like this. This one component, this is another component. If they are mutually perpendicular, after resolving a given vector, then they are considered as rectangular components. So E plus Q. Similarly, I resolve this E minus Q into two parts. One all along this bisector. Okay. Like this. This is E minus Q. Okay. Then another one is with a dotted line, E minus Q. So here we have to understand one thing, that is E plus Q is split into two parts, that is one is this and another one is this. This E minus Q is also split into two parts, one is this and another one is this. But the split components must be associated with the trigonometric functions, because one is called as horizontal and another one is called as vertical. Horizontal component and vertical component. How to decide the horizontal component and vertical component? For that we take angle into consideration. Look here, if this is theta, if this is 90, certainly this angle should be 90 minus theta, because the total angle of a triangle should be equal to 180 degree. Already 90 is there. if this angle becomes 90 minus theta, then 90 minus theta plus theta is 90. Then this 90 plus 90 becomes 180. If you add these two, minus theta plus theta cancels, we get 90. Total angle of these two is 90 plus 90, that becomes 180. So, if this angle is 90 minus theta, certainly this angle is also 90 minus theta because these two are vertically opposite angles. Then finally this angle becomes theta. Why? Because the total angle of this component and this component should be 90. Look here, should be 90. If this angle should become 90, then certainly this angle should be equal to only theta, because already what is there? 90 minus theta is there. 90 minus theta, some angle is existing here in this portion. To that, if I add theta, then minus theta plus theta cancels, then totally it becomes 90. So, now which component becomes the horizontal component? The angle marked part component, that is considered as horizontal component. That means this one. Therefore, I call this as E plus Q cos theta, because horizontal component is always represented by means of cos function. Then what about this? We call this as vertical component. Vertical component is represented by means of the trigonometry function sin theta. What is that you resolve? You resolve E plus Q. Therefore, this becomes E plus Q sin theta and this component becomes E plus Q cos theta. This is vertical and this is horizontal. See, in the figure, just because it is vertical, we cannot call this as a vertical component. Which is vertical and which is horizontal, that is decided based on the angle in which we mark or select. Here angle is selected here. Therefore, this should be the horizontal. If I select the same angle theta here, then this becomes horizontal component and this becomes vertical component. So don't forget this. Instead of considering theta here, if I represent this angle as theta and this as 90 minus theta, then what happens? This becomes E plus Q cos theta and this becomes E plus Q sin theta. But here this angle is not theta. This angle is 90 minus theta. Therefore, certainly this angle should only be theta. Hence, this component becomes horizontal component. Same thing was good for this also. Look here, E minus Q. Again, what is this angle? This angle, like this, it is 90 minus theta because both are similar triangle and moreover it is a perpendicular bisector. Whatever angle that exists here, same angle has to exist here, 90 minus theta. Okay, if this is 90 minus theta, certainly this should be equal to theta because the total angle should be equal to 90. So, if this is 90 minus theta plus theta cancels, then it gives us total angle theta. So, when this angle is chosen as theta, then this becomes horizontal component. Therefore, what I do is I write this as E minus Q cos theta. What about this? Once again, for this E minus Q, these are the two rectangular components, this one and this one. Whereas E plus Q, these are the two rectangular components. One like this, another like this. One of the rectangular component for both E plus Q and E minus Q is common in direction. Look here, all along this direction. E plus Q cos theta of this, E minus Q cos theta of this along same direction. Now what happens? E plus Q cos theta and E plus Q sin theta and E minus Q sin theta. These two components, vertical components, they are equal and opposite. Direction wise opposite, angle same, trigonometric function same. Then E plus Q is equal to E minus Q. Already we have written here, magnitude wise both the fields are same. So therefore, E plus Q and E minus Q are same. Therefore, E plus Q sin theta and E minus Q sin theta, these two get cancelled. That means there is no contribution of electric field from these two components at the point P. If at all we are getting electric field, means that is only due to these two components, that is E plus Q cos theta and E minus Q cos theta. So let's write this. So E plus Q and E minus Q each are resolved into horizontal and vertical rectangular components. What are those horizontal and rectangular components now? The horizontal and rectangular components are like this. Okay. So it is nothing but horizontal components. E plus q cos theta and E minus q cos theta. Okay. Vertical components. What are those? E minus q sin theta. Sorry, we have written horizontal components as this should be vertical component and written E plus q cos theta. Okay, right. Horizontal component. And what are vertical components? So what we have written initially, that's right. So vertical components E minus q sin theta and E plus q. E plus q sin theta and E minus q sin theta. So these two, they get cancelled. Why? Because equal and opposite. Then what happens to these two? So these two get add up. These two get add up because direction is same. Add up why? Direction is same. So now I write like this. Net field at P is given by E net is equal to, what can I write? E plus q cos theta, add that with E minus q cos theta. E plus q cos theta plus of, both are in the same direction, no minus here while adding. E minus q cos theta. But I replace E minus q by E plus q because we can E plus q is equal to E minus q. So therefore, this becomes now 2E plus q cos theta. Now I am going to substitute for this. What is E plus q cos theta? First we shall substitute for E plus q. What is this E plus q? This is equal to 2 E net is equal to 2 E plus q. We care 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, then q divided by a square plus r square. So this is for E plus q. Then write cos theta as it is. Cos theta as it is. Okay. Now let us simplify this. How to simplify this? In triangle, next all that I am going to do is I substitute for cos theta. In triangle APO or AOP. In triangle AOP, it's nothing but right angle triangle. Use cos theta function. What is cos theta equal to? In this triangle, adjacent side by hypotenuse. To this angle theta, which is the adjacent side. So this one or this one, this is adjacent side, okay, whereas and this one is as usually hypotenuse. So adjacent side cos theta equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. So this adjacent side is nothing but equal to a, and hypotenuse is nothing but root of a square plus r square. So substitute the value of cos theta in this equation. So E net is equal to 2 into 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by a square plus r square into, for cos theta I can write this as a divided by root of a square plus r square. Now I take 2 inside and also a inside, 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, then 2 into q into a, 2qa. Now what is the power of this? It is 1. What is the power of a square plus r square? Root means half. If you add the power of these two, 1, instead of writing a square plus r square, root of a square plus r square, I can write this as whole to the power of half. Then 1 plus half, 1.5 means 3 by 2. So this is a square plus r square whole to the power of 3 by 2. Okay, but what is 2qa? It is nothing but the dipole moment, because value of dipole moment q into 2a, I can rewrite like this. Just I am interchanging the terms, that's all. I have not included any extra term here. So this is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Then for q into 2a, I can write this as dipole moment P divided by a square plus r square whole to the power of 3 by 2. So because q into 2a is equal to P, which is nothing but dipole moment. Now this is the expression for the net electric field. At which point? At the point P, due to the two dipoles, and this point P is on the equatorial line. So this is the expression for the net field general equation. I can express this now in vector form. How to express this in vector form? Okay, now E net, I put arrow to represent it as a vector. This is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, then P divided by a square plus r square whole to the power of 3 by 2, then into, I write minus p cap. Instead of writing unit vector as plus p cap, I write this as minus p cap. What's the reason to write minus sign here? P represents the dipole moment. What is the direction of dipole moment? The direction of dipole moment is always from negative charge to positive charge. Here negative charge is here, positive charge is here. So this is the direction of dipole moment. Okay, P cap, which is the unit vector representing the direction of dipole moment, but this dipole moment is opposite to the net electric field. How? Look here, dipole moment is like this. What will be the net field direction? It's nothing but the direction along which these two field acts. Suppose if there is an object on which if two forces are applied in the same direction, F1 and F2, say for example F2 is 10 Newton and F1 is 5 Newton, along which direction this object moves? The object has to move in this direction only, with a net force equal to F1 plus F2, which is equal to 10 plus 5, 15 Newton. Similarly, here also both the fields are acting along the same line. Therefore, the resultant field, that is E net, will be also along the same direction. So net field is towards right side, dipole moment is towards left side. So dipole moment and net field are opposite, that is why I use negative sign. So P cap is nothing but unit vector whose direction is opposite to that of the direction of E net. Whereas in the previous case, by deriving the equation on the axial line, we took this as plus P cap, because in that case electric field and dipole moment are said to be in the same direction, net field and dipole moment, but here totally in the opposite direction like this. So I can say like this, the direction of the net electric field is opposite to the dipole moment, or vice versa. The direction of the dipole moment is opposite to the direction of the net field. What is the equation of the axial net field due to an axial line? So the equation of the electric field due to axial line is given by, so before that, before going to that, I can also find out the equation for the short dipole. Let us consider that. For short dipole, what should be the condition? Already we know that R must be very much greater than A. That means this distance from here to here, what is the distance? R. This should be very much greater than this A. So therefore, If that is the case, then what can be neglected? Then A, the term A can be neglected. If we neglect this, what do we get this equation now? E net now becomes equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, okay, P divided by, what is that I am neglecting? Remember, for dipole moment, use small p, small letter p. I am going to neglect a square. If I neglect a square, then it becomes r square whole to the power of 3 by 2. So square and square get cancelled. Finally, what is left? R cube is left. This square and square get cancelled. R cube is left. So I write this as P by R cube into what is there? Unit vector P cap is there. So this is for short dipole. So this is the expression for electric field in case of general expression for general dipole, and this is particularly for a short dipole.